Welcome everyone, this is Kerjims channel. Now we are back to our new episodes of two similar champions and comparison featured by Warwick, League of Legends versus the Mobile Legend Bang. But before that, please like and subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the bell icon so you will be notified to our next episode video. Let's do this!
Warwick's passive is Eternal Hunger. His basic attacks deal bonus damage. If he's low on health, the bonus damage also heals him. Jaws of the Beast. When pressed, he lunges to an enemy, dealing damage based on max health, applying on-hit effects, and healing Warwick. If you hold during the lunge, Warwick will actually leap behind the target. As an extra benefit, Warwick will also follow any other movements they make, such as Arcane Shift or Flash. Use Jaws of the Beast and Eternal Hunger whenever possible to stay healthy in the jungle. Just be sure to pick out the splinters after. Warwick's W is Blood Hunt. Whenever Warwick attacks any enemy below half HP, he gains bonus attack speed until he switches targets. Whenever an enemy champion is revealed below half HP anywhere on the map, they are afflicted with Blood Hunt, creating a blood trail that leads toward them. This blood trail will follow Warwick's prey through Fog of War or Stealth. Warwick gains bonus out-of-combat move speed whenever moving toward a blood-hunted enemy champion. All of Blood Hunt's passive components are massively increased against enemies who are incredibly low on health. Activating Blood Hunt senses the nearest enemy champion within a large radius, granting the blood trail and speed boosts regardless of health for a short time. Blood Hunt's active cooldown is extremely high, but it cools down twice as fast while no enemy champions are hunted. Remember, Blood Hunt's passive applies globally. No enemy is ever out of reach, whether they're fleeing from a Yordle with a big ol' hammer or simply cowering under a turret. He is Primal Howl. When activated, Warwick takes significantly reduced damage for a short period of time. When the effect wears off, or is deactivated early, Warwick causes nearby enemies to flee from him. Even a Wolfman can find chickens daunting, but thanks to Primal Howl's damage reduction, Warwick can raid the coop without taking a pecking. Warwick's ultimate is Infinite Direct. He leaps in a target direction, suppressing the first enemy champion he collides with, damages them, repeatedly applies on-hit effects, and then heals himself for all the damage he dealt them. Infinite Duress's leap distance increases with Warwick's movement speed. He's immune to crowd control during the leap, but not during the progression. If Primal Howl is active when you tackle an enemy champion with Infinite Duress, it will immediately deactivate to send surrounding foes fleeing. If the Uncaged Wrath of Zon stacks enough movement speed, Infinite Duress's leap distance gets downright loony. Use it to get in the enemy backline's face, then jam on him. Jaws of the Beast leap is perfect for sinking your teeth into elusive prey. Here, Warwick picks up a Moo scent and closes the initial gap with Blood Hunt's movement speed. Primal Howl makes the sad mummy cry in fear, slowing him down. Warwick then saves Jaws of the Beast to follow in case of advantage toss or flash, killing him at the end. Blood Hunt's active ensures every chase is a thriller, even against a healthy target. Here, Warwick injects himself with Singed patented Hooch Hooch, and pops Ghost to get within range. He cuts off Twitch's escape path with Jaws of the Beast before turning the rat into his new favorite chew toy. Unchecked bloodlust can land you in some hairy situations. Here, Warwick hunts down Ziggs and attempts to rip him apart with Infinite Duress. However, he misses. Additionally, he has no idea Graves was swinging by for defense, as he's healthy and not hunted. Unlucky. Warwick's Howl is enough to split even the tightest wolf packs. He preps Primal Howl, then begins the attack on Titan of the Depth using Jaws of the Beast. Primal Howl's spear turns Nautilus into the team's loneliest tank, where Warwick's team finally picks up the kill. Any minute now. You can pull off a similar trick with Infinite Duress. Here, Warwick spots some approaching squishies and preps Primal Howl. He chooses Xerath as his target, terrifying the sparkly blue man's allies. From there, Warwick can sniff out fleeing prey and pick up tomorrow's dinner.
For the fastest level 3 possible, which is then going to be taking your blue and your Grom. Here in Season 10, to get level 3, you only need 2 camps plus golems, or 2 camps plus Grom. And since Warwick is a single target clearing jungler, obviously going for red buff, blue buff, and Grom is the fastest way for him to hit level 3 with double buffs. Once you are level 3 with double buffs on Warwick, this is your first huge power spike, and this is when enemy junglers should be very afraid of you, and if they're not, they're really going to suffer. While taking your blue and your Grom, you need to be looking at the red buff ward, and you need to be looking at the 2 closest enemy laners and figuring out what your best move is. If you can't gank the 2 closest enemy laners, then you're going to want to push into the enemy's jungle. If you haven't seen them on the map, that means they're doing a full clear and they'll probably be there shortly. If you do see them on the map, that means you have time to take it before they get there, or if you think they'll be there in a moment, and if you want to wait, you can wait until they start it and get low on health and then kill them. In this case, I waited for a little bit. It was clear that she wasn't going to be there for a while. Sure enough, she shows up mid. I take the red buff, and now I'm going to wait in the raptor bush for her. If she came faster, I would have waited in the red buff bush for her, but since she's far enough away, I have enough time to get in the raptor bush. She's very low on health, so she's likely to flash immediately when she sees me, so I activate. That way I can activate as soon as I need to. I auto-attack, immediately do a full top, stays on top of her clear flash. She gets speared, and I finish her off with an auto. Classic for high plat, low diamond, people don't pay attention. Kiana is still shoving up mid, even though I already have my blood trail move speed bonus. I'm sure she didn't get a buff, have HP off of a potion or something like that. Gonna run up, auto attacker, move, auto attacker. I don't want to Q yet since my E isn't up, plus I want to use it as a bit of a gap closer. Now that she's starting to get away from me, I hit her with a final auto. I can't reach her anymore. Auto attacker and then flash out of the turret range. I might have actually been able to survive if I would have just used my E to soak 2 turret shots. It would have been close though, in hindsight's 2020. That's an important lesson for you guys. If you're in a situation where you won't have a chance to use your Q more than once, especially if the enemies are moving away from you, you need to try to save it until you can't reach them with your autos anymore, since your Q does have quite a lot more range than your autos, and it also has the attachment if you hold it down. In general on Warwick, you want to back as soon as you can afford to get your team mat. In this case, I went for the Scuttle Crab since Talia was dead, and now that I have a level lead on her and I have mid prio after thinking Diana, I feel comfortable going for the other Scuttle. Even if Talia shows up, I can easily solo her. I still have red buff, and I do have water walking, so if she does show up, there's no wish to do it. I see Ryze is low on health, and I also see Talia top on the mini-map there for a split second. We do already know that she completely wiped out her blue side jungle because she had 12 CS and only had blue buff, so I figured she'd be up here doing raptors or golems. I come up, I don't catch her at a great time, she ends up getting away. It's not a big deal though, I can still back, hit my massive item power spike, and set up a drag. 9 times out of 10, you only want to back once you can afford your team mat. Once you get your team mat, you're going to want to get boots of speed, and then build straight into your cinder hole. If laners are fighting to the death, make sure you're far away or you might spoof them. Wait till you're close enough to where even if they do react, you'll still be able to chase them down. So I wait until I'm in the bush, I already have my pink ward in it, then I use it. At that point, there's no way she can get away. When going in for your all-in combo, it's important that you want to make sure you're just about an auto attack range or very close to it if you're moving fast before you end up wasting it, because they'll move away from you. In this case, even though she does have a good dash, I still land the fear. I auto attack, Q, T-mat. You can T-mat in the middle of your Q animation, giving you a lot more damage. Once again, if people are moving away from you, remember, auto them and then Q them once they're outside of your auto attack range. After the kill on Kiana, Dragon would have been a really nice choice. The issue is my Caitlyn still isn't in lane, and I don't know if it's warded or not. It's a little bit too risky to go for when you have very little lane priority. If Fizz was level 6 and going to roam, I probably would have gone for it. Instead, I go for bot lane gank. It is a 3v3. I stay on top of Jinx. I fear her. For some reason, Thresh stops hitting her. Jinx puts a little bit more damage into me, and the enemies barely finish me off. It wasn't really worth for me to run past Jinx at that point. I miscalculated the situation. Luckily, though, we still did kill 2 of them, so it wasn't the end of the world. In general, though, whenever you are ahead, you need to take special precautions, making sure not to get yourself killed, because I did just give away a decent chunk of shutdown gold. I now have red smite. I highly prefer it to blue smite. It'll keep you alive much longer in fights, and realistically, it does more damage if you can get off an auto attack. Talia did just get killed by Fizz. This is going to allow me to solo Dragon. I can come in with it back with a hit with Blast Cone, so even if it is warded or anything like that, although they won't see me. Fizz did just get killed by the Kiana, so I'm waiting to see Kiana before I go to solo Dragon. I'm waiting to see where she's gonna go next, and I'm also waiting to see how much HP she has. I check her HP, and she's really low on health, so I know I'm gonna want to kill her first. I'll have so much movement speed on top of my celerity. There's no way she's gonna be able to get away. While going in for the gank, activate my Oracle Lens, and sure enough, there's a ward that completely botched the gank. If that wasn't there, I would have gotten on top of her way before she could have reacted. Talia's been spawned in, so I figured she'll be on her blue or Gromp. My Oracle Lens didn't see the blue buff, so I come to get her on Gromp. It turns out she just dragged blue buff out, so I Q smite it away from her. My bot lane isn't yet in lane, so I can't start dragging because I'll get collapsed on, so I have to be patient and wait for them to get to lane. So I'm gonna wait in this bush while I'm trying to figure out what the enemies want to do. She has her Oracle Lens on, so she'll see me even before she enters the bush. As Talia gets closer, I activate my W for massive movement speed, and I save my Q to dodge her knockup. Warwick's Q makes you immune to displacements. Knockup is a displacement, and your ultimate makes you immune to all CCs while you are flying through the air. I'm gonna finish off the Talia with my autos because I want to ult the Senna. Senna hits me with her snare ability, and before it snares me, I ultimate to negate its CC. This is why Warwick is so dangerously sticky. If you are patient in your ultimates, it's very difficult for most enemies to get away from you. Unfortunately, she does have flash and I don't, so she does end up getting away. This does set us up for an easy dragon since I killed Talia and ended up sending Senna back. When taking Dragon on Warwick, I recommend auto it once again because you choose an auto attack resetter and you can avoid the dragon's displacement on you with your Q, allowing you to take it faster. Here I'm trying to cross her mid to kill Talia at her red. His lance his shark with my fear, Q3 and finish her off. I still do want to get to Talia's red to kill her on it, but I'm going to help Fizz shove this first since he's low on HP. I don't want him to have to stay for too long, overextend himself, and end up dying. So after I help him shove it, I come over here. Talia's already taking Raptors. I check rewards. She's taking red, so most likely she's on her bones right now, which is why I'm walking over there.